We're live. We're in.
We're talking about a new tax that may be coming to Dave's small town of Kaysville, and we want you to weigh in. So, as we're telling you about this new tax, vote by comment. Either vote yes or vote no. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Dave, tell us what's going on in the tiny town of Kaysville, Utah.
Well, it's something that you're probably dealing with in your own city. It's called the ramp tax. Now, some cities call it the RAP tax or the ZAP tax. And essentially what it means is the ramp tax is sales tax, a boost in sales tax that covers recreation,
Okay.
arts, museums, and parks. RAMP, that's the acronym.
Okay.
And what they're trying to do is they're trying to raise our taxes in Kaysville. And I initially, with all taxes, all spending, my go-to move is no way, you're crazy. I'm not approving anything. This one has me a little intrigued.
It does. Okay. So let's take a step back here.
Okay.
It's a sales tax.
Yep.
On food?
Not on food.
Okay.
Not on gas.
Okay.
On non-essential purchases.
So let's say I went to the big box store that you don't have in Kaysville probably, and I bought a new pair of jeans. That would okay, and they were $20. Let's say I got a really good deal on them.
Okay.
How much would I owe for that ramp tax that you're talking about?
You're going to make me say it.
Yeah. How much on the $20?
It's going to make me sound petty. Okay, I don't want to say it because it's 2 pennies.
2 cents.
2 cents.
You're good at that. You're always good at giving your 2 cents. So it's 1 penny on every $10 spent. Again, I want our listeners to weigh in. Thumbs up or thumbs down to the ramp tax. Why? Let's start here. Why are you opposed to this particular tax?
I'm going to go full Ron Swanson on you. If you don't know Ron Swanson, if you never watched Parks and Rec, can you hear that? Can you hear the audio? Can you hear the music?
I can hear it.
This is Parks and Rec right here. The reason I am super anti basically all spending whatsoever is because Ron Swanson is my hero.
I've been quite open about this around the office. I don't want this parks department to build any parks because I don't believe in government. I think that all government is a waste of taxpayer money.
That's my go-to, Deb. I think all government is a waste of taxpayer money. So that's why I'm saying no, not to this tax, not to any tax. We're dealing with federal taxes, state taxes, property taxes, sales tax. What am I missing? A death tax, capital gains tax. How many ways are you going to tax me before you can finally say, you know what? I think I've taxed Dave enough.
We're asking, hey, I can see some of you watching here on my my Facebook app, KSL News Radio, of course. It's Dave and Dujanovic from the Dave and Dujanovic Show on every day, Monday through Thursday, 9 to noon. We just came off the air, and Dave's like, I've got so much more to say about this ramp tax. We talked about it in our 10 o'clock hours, and we even took listeners' phone calls. But hey, Barb, I can see you're watching. Marky, I can see you're watching. Luz, I can see you're watching. Karen, it seems like you're still watching. Vote. Would you be for a ramp tax or against a ramp tax? So put your vote in the comments. Dave, get more specific with us so we know kind of like what the city of Kaysville is thinking with this. And a lot of other cities have already done it or are considering it. What would you get out of it if it did pass?
In Kaysville, because we don't have a lot of businesses, we're largely a residential community. We don't have a lot of businesses that aren't food related. Right. So it's only about $500,000, $400,000, $500,000. And that money would go to the Parks and Rec department, as well as supporting some sort of arts and museums that we don't really have. So what would happen with that $400,000 or $500,000? Where would that money go? Well, we don't have a great answer for that. And I think that's part of the problem. Is it going to go to more playgrounds, more better basketball standards at the parks? Is it going to allow for more fishing docks? What is that money going to go to? Instead, they're just like, hey, it would give a big boost, $400,000, $500,000 to The rec department, okay, well, what are you going to use it for?
What if they came to you and maybe they've already done this and it's somewhere on a website and said, here's the breakdown of what we're thinking, or we're going to allow you. And we had Michelle Barber, one of the city council members of the Kaysville City Council, on the show. And it sounded to me like they wanted a lot of community involvement. What if they came to you and said, look, at this committee has been set up. You can come and join all of the meetings, but here's where the money really needs to go. We need more fences at the ballpark, or we need another soccer field. And it would eventually, this money, it seems like the projection is to raise $400,000 a year from this additional penny sales tax on every $10. Would that make you feel better? Because I think the problem most people have with tax, at least people I talk to, it echoes what you're saying, Dave, and that is that we just don't know where this money really ends up going. We say it's going to be used for, a new field or to improve the grass in the outfield. But at the end of the day, we don't really know if that's what it was used for, and that's how much was spent on it, and if we really, could have bought a cheaper grass to put out there.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be crucial, right? But this belief or the claims of, hey, we're going to be transparent with the money. Okay, but how transparent are you with all the other money? Do I know exactly where all my property taxes are going? Well, it goes to education, right? Largely, it mostly goes to education. Great. Well, where? Is it going to teachers' salaries? Is it going to your playground? Is it going to new laptops? What is it going to? And one of the things that Michelle Barber said, and I totally 100% agree with, is taxes, so often we feel detached from that tax dollar. We don't know where it's going. We don't know how it's being spent. And just think about your own personal finances, Debbie. If all of a sudden you started with $5,000 in the month, and then all of a sudden you're like, why do I have $1,000 now? And you couldn't really account for it, that would be a disaster. You're like, oh, it went to like housing and stuff. We don't run our budgets that way at home. Why do we run that budget that way in government? The minutia, the detail, it's hard to really unravel where all that money's being spent because we're talking about so much money.
Do you hate taxes like Dave does? In particular, Dave is really not too happy, or doesn't seem too keen at this point, on this ramp tax that his city has put on the ballot. In the next couple of days, Dave, your city will be voting on whether to initiate a ramp tax. It's like an arts and parks tax to improve different facilities for kids and for adults to, enjoy.
Yeah.
So yes or no, thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you hate taxes as much as Dave does? I can tell you, Dave, you are very, very passionate about this. But on the other hand, I've been sitting next to you for 4 years on this show now. And I also know you enjoy a lot of benefits because of taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, you enjoy the benefits of driving on a paved road every single day. You enjoy the benefits of having your trash picked up outside your house. You don't have to haul it to the landfill every other week. Let me see if you can. You enjoy the benefits of having your kids in free public education, and that's because of what's collected in taxes. So what's one more penny on $10 so your kids can have a better playground to play on?
Well, this is what happens every single time. This is an off year, right? So we're not voting for presidents. We're not voting for senators or representatives.
Low turnout.
It's a low turnout.
Yeah.
You're voting basically on your city council, on your mayor, on some ballot initiatives, right? So these off years, even though they're not popular or sexy, they're crucial because this is where the stuff that you're going to see every day in your community, this is where it happens, right? Do I enjoy some things from the taxes I pay? Yeah, absolutely. I get it. But here's fundamentally what I think tax money should be spent on. And I stole this from Adam Carolla, the great podcaster and comedian, but he's almost a philosopher. I want you to spend money, my taxes, on things I can't do for myself, right? If I can do it for myself, then get out of my way. I can't defend a nation. So yeah, my tax money should go to defense and defend my community. So should my taxes go to police and firefighters and and an ambulance that can show up, 911. Okay, that's fine. That's something I can't do for myself. Can I run my own
Little League,
quote unquote little league? Yes.
your own art
Yes,
museum? No, you
absolutely.
can't. No, you cannot.
Absolutely.
You
Yes, you
cannot.
can. I
No,
do
you
it.
can't. You cannot run your own little league. I'm sorry, Dave. I know you're a coach and you think you can, but there is
Do it.
no way you have the capacity to recruit all the kids that it'll take to put together at least 2 teams. Make sure you have a field reserved. Make sure they have the right equipment to play. You cannot just a rec league, little league. You can't do it. The cities often can't even do it. It is so bad. Little leagues have dwindled so much, and involvement on the local level has dwindled so much that parents like me and maybe even like you are now forced to find these more expensive travel teams to put their kids in. So this fact that we're like spinning on 1 penny per 10 cents or $10 makes no sense to me in so many ways, because I'm sorry, as amazing as you are, as great of a dad as you are, there's no way that you could cobble together enough kids and run an entire little league instead of paying 1 penny. Like, you're wasting your time and actually costing yourself more money in the long run, because these travel leagues cost tens, if not, tens of thousands. Actually, I spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to get enough money together to keep my kids playing ball. So you're short-sighted on this big time. Barbara, it says thumbs down. Taxes go up and never come down.
Truth. They do. they go up. This would be a 10-year tax. This would be, it wouldn't go up. It would be set at 0.1% for 10 years, and then I think we'd have to vote on it again. But you say I couldn't do it myself?
Nope.
Totally not true, because I do it. I do it in the comp world. We do competitive softball. And yes, it is more expensive, but could we scale it and make it much cheaper and not subsidized by every other Kaysvilleite? Yes, we absolutely. That is how we run our team. Is it more expensive? Yes, but you can have a very expensive travel team. But I can tell you, if we just played for 6 weeks and we were a totally private softball league, it would be very, very cheap. It would be very, very cheap, and we could do it.
You don't have time. That's another thing you forgot.
Everyone does. Listen, I didn't have time to coach rec softball, but I did it. Everyone does it. I think the frustration that a lot of people feel right now is we just assume that the only person that can run a recreation department is the government, and that's just not true. We can find a better way to do it.
Rec League has been around forever. Then where are all these people that are so great at running rec departments? Hey, we're getting more comments. It's a crazy idea, says Deanne. How about cities live within their means? Stop taxing people to death.
Now you're going to focus. Yes, Deanne, totally with you. You're gonna focus on this 1 cent on every $10.
Yeah.
It's a very low amount. It's an insignificant amount. I get that. It's the principle of things that we need to start doing more of when it comes to taxes. And it's saying, okay, what's it really going to? How are you spending this? Is this something that every single Utahn or every single Kaysvilleite should be spending money on? Every time someone comes to our town and spends dollars, should we tax them extra for this rec program that they may or may not use?
Raylyn, let's get your comment up on the screen. Thank you so much for sticking with our argument here about this 1 penny per $10 tax that Dave is just so upset about. No more taxes. I can't afford all the beep people want.
I think you can say crap.
I'll let you say that. So Dave, final point here. Other cities that surround your cute little town of Kaysville, they have this arts and parks tax. Yeah. And you just said you don't have a lot of commercial businesses in your city. So chances are you're driving to the city to the north, or you're driving to the city to the south to buy things. And so you are spending that extra penny per $10 at a business, let's say in Farmington, or a business up the street in Layton. So they want to thank you. They want to thank you for supporting their arts and recreation programs.
Well, what if all of a sudden they go from 0.1% to 1%.
Oh my
A
goodness.
1% tax,
Chicken Little.
right? The sky is falling, Deb.
Chicken Little.
Listen, I'm intrigued. And listen, I'm not trying to badmouth rec softball, football, anything, parks. I use all of this stuff, right? I mean, I just want, if we're going to charge this tax, then I want to make sure that it is well spent. But that is a message for all of my tax dollars. And the reason I may be pushing back on this a little bit, and maybe I will vote for it because it's not that much. But have you ever seen that when you see a bond initiative and you're like, oh, we need $50 million for a rec center, or we need $100 million to renovate this high school. We bond out things because what do they say? It's only a few bucks a year. Well, yeah, but now we are hundreds of millions of dollars in debt to bonds for things that we supported that we're paying off over 30 years. What I'm afraid of is I say yes to the ramp tax, and then what's going to pop up next? Oh, now there's a $50 million bond on a Kaysville pool. We don't need a pool in Kaysville, Deb. I've got Layton Surf and Swim to the north, and I've got Farmington Pool to the south.
And you cross that bridge when you come to it.
It's a 4-mile drive.
Yeah.
I'm going to go put up a $50 million bond so I can drive 2 miles instead of 4 to the community pool.
So, Dave,
it's a waterfall.
You and I are, it's a waterfall.
That's how it starts. It starts off
okay.
Little trickle, a little stream, and then you're like, Niagara.
You and I are back together Monday morning at 9 a.m. on KSL News Radio. And in the meantime, I'm going to walk around my city of Cottonwood Heights all weekend collecting pennies to come in and drop on your desk so you can afford that 1 penny per $10 if this thing passes. But you know what we'll definitely want from you is a live report on Election Day from City Hall, because we want to keep it. Hey, look, and actually, in all seriousness, you and I argue about this. Local elections are very, very important. And you and I have so much fun on the show. We have a fun time discussing kind of like what would normally be a super boring topic, like taxes. But these issues are very, very serious to Utah families. And I think too often we overlook them when we are thinking about voting or maybe doing our research. But these are the areas that we can make a difference, is at the local level. And we have an off-year election. Traditionally, not as many voters turn out. It's significantly less than what we had. It's projected to be significantly less than what we had in the presidential election. So all of us should have a ballot right now at our home. If not, it's in the mail. It came in to my house in a bright yellow envelope. And I just want to encourage everybody to take this weekend, sit down at the kitchen table and vote. Even if it's a vote for or against a penny extra sales tax per $10 in your city.
The ramp tax.
See you guys Monday on the show.